Hello all, welcome to the show. I'm Gus Gagliardi and this is Fire Code Tech. On Fire Code Tech, we interview fire protection professionals from all different careers and backgrounds in order to provide insight and a resource for those in the field. My goal is to help you become a more informed fire protection professional. Fire Code Tech has interviews with engineers and researchers, fire marshals, and insurance professionals, and highlights topics like codes and standards, engineering systems, professional development, and trending topics in the industry. So if you're someone who wants to know more about fire protection or the fascinating stories of those who are in the field, you're in the right place. Hello all, welcome to episode 35 of Fire Code Tech. On this episode we have Vishal Kashyap. This episode is sponsored by Wachter, but more from our sponsor a little bit later on in this episode. On this episode, we're diving deep into some fire alarm topics. Also, you can hear a first-hand account of Vishal's Fire Book Club, where he goes through NFPA standards on a week-by-week basis in bite-sized chunks and discusses it with a group of fellow professionals. If you're interested in new ways that you can learn about fire alarms and online content for fire protection, you're going to love this episode. Vishal has over a decade of experience in fire alarm special hazards and security and CCTV design. We also break into some of his project work, which includes new and existing construction in a variety of different buildings. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode and follow us on social media. Oh, and if you'd be so inclined, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps out the show analytics. Well, hello, Vishal. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How's it going?
It's going fine. Thank you for Gus for having me, and I've been a huge fan of your podcast while driving to the office, or maybe just in and out of the office. Do hear to your podcast, and your pump podcast is the one that I admire the most.
Oh, wow. Thanks. I appreciate that. That means a lot. It always is interesting when I speak to somebody who's had any experience listening to the podcast. It's always nice to hear. Well, I wanted to get started in traditional fashion and, ask you about how you found your way into fire and life safety, Vishal. I didn't know if you would mind speaking about that.
Yeah, sure. I started off my career as, though I'm an electronics and telecom engineer, I started off my career as a computer instructor. This is 2001 I'm talking about. At that time, teaching computers and knowing computers used to be big. Still it is to some extent, but into the level of AI and ML and whatnot, there are a lot of things out there. And gradually, I came into software industry. I started developing softwares. We got to work in my company got to work in a project that was World Bank initiated and funded, and that project also got it was a privilege to leading that team in the first place, and that project got National Geographic Innovator of the Year 2004 award as well. This was from some 2000 and to 5,000 entries that came all across India, and then there was a final battle, I would say, in New Delhi, the capital of India, wherein we all the contestants came and we showcased our product, what we have done, what is the innovation that they have done, and there is when we got this award. It was in 2004. Then I moved down to travel industry, completely 360 degree, you can say. And then after travel industry, I came to the controls industry when I joined Honeywell. It's there in where I came to the industry of electronic safety and security. I was handling the Ademco panels, the Vista panels, if you may recall. Those the old ones, classic ones, they're still out there, and they are very sturdy fire and bulk panels. So that's wherein I came into the fire and bulk panels, and then, as I say, it's all history. I discovered, or I thought that I got my groove. I should be going into this is the industry that I want to do. This is what I want to do. It's a good blend of software as well as codes. When I can say codes, I mean to say you have a structural way of designing something, and you have everyone has a same ground to design. Okay, you might there are many ways to do a design when it comes to as far as an access control system is concerned, but when it comes to fire, you there are building codes wherein you need to strictly follow. So that is where I transitioned into Qatar, and since then, around about 2009, since then I've been in Qatar in the fire industry.
Wow, that's incredible. I like hearing about your background and some of the different roles you've held, and it's interesting to me the crossover between. I've spoke with a couple fire alarm professionals now with the sort of software background, and kind of I guess it makes logic logical sense because all fire alarm is a very specialized small computer for fire and life safety, but I suppose it's an interesting parallel between the two career paths that I talked to a couple people in that transition.
It is like that because there was ACES is one of the agency out there. They have actually already predicted this way before that the physical security, the built environment security, and the fire detection industry, plus your structured cabling, wherein all your data goes around in the building, would be merging together. I mean, it's taking time to do that. And if you see the NFPA 72 code, the 2022 edition, just to around the corner, is going to be releasing next 1 or 2 months. Cybersecurity has come into it. So it's making its the software industry, or for that matter, the computer programming and those mindsets and those thought process is making inroad towards fire alarm as well. Class N is one of the other example wherein uh, networking in the fire industry is being taken seriously as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I've seen a huge push in cybersecurity and fire protection.
Mm,
I guess it makes a lot of sense with all the integrated systems that have been a big push to
mm,
integrate your building automation system, integrate your just everything you could imagine with the Internet of Things, that there
yeah,
are liabilities associated with it. So I think
true.
that's a great point. It's a big, big push in the industry right now.
Yeah.
Some of the federal jobs I work on, I've seen
Mhm.
the productions of new standards just to um, accommodate this cybersecurity push. For how are the passwords handled? How many people have access,
Yes.
that sort of thing, just across the board. So it's new for me. I think it's interesting though. So you spoke a little bit about a couple of the different fire alarm roles that you had, but I wonder if you would speak a little bit more specifically on some of the different project work that you have done in fire alarms, so people can get a better sense of your specialty in fire and life safety.
As far as fire alarm is concerned, the biggest one, I would say, it was just right into my first year of the getting on board to my current employer. It was for an industrial project, and they had roughly 40 to 50 panel spread across a huge area, and handling again I say a fire alarm system as a BMS, that is a building management system of all the fire safety equipments, because they all kind of report into it. You have sprinklers, water flowing, it reports into the fire alarm. You have clean agent releasing, it reports into the fire alarm. So it's like a building management system for your fire alarm. In other words, pumps running, they also report. So uh, that's the one wherein it was a good blend of VESDA systems as well, aspirating smoke detection, as well. And this is year 2010, and that time, uh, Vesda, as far as an FPA is concerned, they used to treat it as a spot detector, each sampling point. They still do. And It's only that very recently, in the last two iteration, I think they have started talking about the travel time of the smoke from the last sampling point. So, so there were challenges at that time, and we used a mix of EN codes at that time, because the EN code were much more, uh, I would say, matured in terms of VESDA systems. They had very clear classifications. If you're doing a localized detection, or if you're doing a detection wherein you're just running a sampling point to the grill of the return grill, detect duct of your protected room. That is one. That's an industrial product project. We had easily 20 to 30 panels that I can just recall from that picture. Is I can still vividly remember the graphic enunciator of my head. I can see 22 panels just right there easily. Might be more as well, but I can't remember those at the moment. And it was a huge campus, and all those were being brought into a small room, control station room. It was a proprietary system wherein all the panels were reporting in. Very good, very sturdy product that we were using, and it was a great learning experience as far as detecting the hazards are concerned. At times, you had to go out of the code and just use from the scratch what would be the fire signature if there's a fire, and then go out and search for the right type of detection. That's one. Then second is in from around about 55 buildings of it's a gated community wherein we had roughly some 8,000 devices, detection devices, and all these panels are, of course, that was, it's a retrofit, I would say. That was not from the scratch. The industrial project was from completely from scratch. So that's the kind of enormity I've been involved into. And not only that, it's was not because being in the electrical division, I've done the other projects as well, systems as well, like access control and CCTV were also a part of the industrial project. So that's it. That's us. We used to help out with the revalidation of the design, doing load calculations to make sure, just like the pumps, we need to make sure that when it comes to pumps, we want to make sure that the flow and the pressure is there to the last point. Same way, we want to make sure that the voltage and the current is sufficient enough at the last detector. So uh, that's the and after that, there have been many projects which have been like 40 floors, high-rise buildings, you may say, commercial buildings. Some of them have been in the rail industry as well. So mix and match of all the industries. Um, that's me.
I see. Wow, those are some big projects you were talking about. What
Mm,
I know what you're saying about being able to see the graphic enunciator in your head when you have a project that's very
yeah,
big and complex. It leaves an indelible mark on a
yeah,
person. You know, how much time and energy that takes out of you to be a part of a project that big.
yeah,
Definitely takes some life force out of you and leaves a permanent imprint. So I know how that feels.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
though the vivid image that I was having was black and white. I don't know why. Should be color.
that's funny. That's funny. I like that. No, that's awesome that you've had a wide array of experience and ranging
Yeah,
from
thank you.
new
Yeah,
construction and existing construction and kind of retrofit. But
Ret-
uh,
retrofit as well.
they come with a lot of different challenges, and it
Yes.
sounds like not just fire alarm, but also CCTV and security and some other low voltage systems or just general electrical design, electrical and security design. So,
Yes, yes, and not only that, even in clean agent systems, I've been involved. But since we are talking fire alarm, I will keep myself to that.
no, all the clean agent and suppression is good stuff too. And yeah, I like what
Yeah,
you're saying about the Vesda. I'm a big fan of Vesda. If the
yeah.
owner can stomach the sticker price, I think it's a great option.
I would.
Aspirating smoke detection.
Yes, yes. I would add on to it, Gus. I have the same feeling. I feel that this is one of the device which is being underutilized in the industry. Just because people are, uh, just because there is an impression in the industry that, or the end user, that it is very sensitive and you're going to have enormous nuisance alarms, or false alarms, for that matter. Days have gone for Vesda. Those days are gone already. Now there are Vesda systems. I'm not if you have come across or not, but there is a Vesda system from one of the makes out there. They have addressable pipes. Just imagine that. I mean,
Wow.
there used to be zones, network pipes, zones of your 20 pipes. Now these are small pipes, tubes pipes, and they go into the field, and they give you an addressable detection. And the beauty of it is it's easy to maintain because you only have to look at the box at the end of the network, which is the detector, because what it does is it literally sucks the air out of the whole protected premises. So you just have to maintain that box, and your tests are easy. If you're using the non-addressable type, wherein let's say you have a two-zone detector. So you have one network going in one pipe, another network going in one pipe. You just at the end of the room, just need to drop a pipe and have a small hole into it. Have your test station. Makes life so easy. Your installation is also fast. In retrofit areas, you can put these devices very quickly, because you don't need any special supports for it, unless you have to do some kind of uh, aesthetic beautification of it, until unless it's up in the false ceiling area, the ceiling void, or plenum area. It's easy to run the pipe. Retrofit also is okay. Then, as far as your explosion-proof areas are concerned, you can simply put one of these in there, and the detector outside in the safe area. How cool is that? And you eliminate all those ATEX requirement, and you eliminate explosion-proof requirement. How cool is that?
It sounds like a good option and good points
Yeah.
to know about Vesda. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think that it definitely is a nice tool for, um, I always recommend for high value assets and people who are looking to step up their protection. I would suggest a Vesda uh, long before I would suggest some. More complicated and unreliable systems. But but so I think it's a great option for
Yeah.
people to know about. I wanted to speak with you about the Fire Alarm Book Club, Vishal. Would you tell the
Mhm.
listeners about what you've been doing and what is the Fire Alarm Book Club? Want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor today, Walkter. Walkter is a family owned business that provides services in many commercial and industrial market sectors, including electrical and fire alarm systems, the Internet of Things, digital transformation, and much, much more. Walkter is headquartered out of Lenexa, Kansas, but is decentralized in that they have technicians across the nation. They are looking for good candidates for fire alarm technicians in a variety of locations across the U.S. You can find out the details of these jobs and much more about Walkter on walkter.com/careers. That's WACHTER.com/careers. Let's get back to the show.
This is a book club that the idea behind is, the core idea behind it is that we are working professionals, and to some extent we need to refer and re-refer the books, the codes that we is like bread and butter for us. And being a working professional and handling your other responsibilities, it becomes at times too daunting of a task to make sittings and committing for reading the book or the code or refreshing the code for yourself. So the idea was that how about just take out 30 minutes a week? And the pandemic was going on at that time. People were doing a lot of webinars. It struck to me, okay, why not we do this? And there were other colleagues of mine also. They said, yeah, we should do something like this. It makes a lot of value add to people, and 30 minutes is something in a week. It's easy to take out rather than taking 30 minutes every day, let's say, for this kind of commitment. So there is we started, and we formed the book club, and we the moment we formed the book club, we made sure that we have a mission, vision, and our values straightforward written, so that tomorrow, God willing, down the line, 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, it's already 7 months now, we want to look back and see why we started this, so we don't forget it. So one of the mission, and I will read that out for you. The mission is to construe the code or the standard from various standpoints, reflect and learn in bite size during virtual live sessions. So we are committing ourselves to do in bite sizes, 30 minutes. Uh, at this very moment, our choice of code is NFPS 72 2019 edition. We have already reached chapter number 14, and I would be glad to sharing with you. I'm very happy to share with you, and I feel proud when I say that my book club members, the cohort that we have few of our attending members, they have already sat for the CFA ITMS exam, uh, and they have cleared the exam as well, and they have aced the exam. So that gives the revalidation of the thought process that here is what we are doing. We will do little by little, small by small. We will discuss with each other the code. Uh, and the vision is to skill 100 participants in their code of choice with the investment of 30 minutes weekly, shedding of fear of unknown, brainstorming and share thoughts. So that's what that is our vision. And the values that we set for ourselves is be the cohort of individuals who nurture the practice of fire safety. So that's very important, that we nurture the practice of fire safety and are willing to give back to the community. So we are giving back to the community also with the, this is one of our values. The most valuable commodity, that is knowledge, with no monetary expectations. So we don't expect any monetary expectations. We don't expect you to spend money on it. It's fine by us. The only thing is we are sharing knowledge, and what we believe is when it comes to safety, this knowledge should be easily and readily available. Uh, which there are, I know, initiatives out there in the industry are trying to do that as well. So that's my small contribution to the industry and the fire safety community. Uh, we very recently have started polling. So what we do is we choose a slot. We were doing the voting for the CFPS after every session of weekly session. What we do is we send out a feedback form. We need advice from our members because they are one of the key part of the whole process, and they chose the next code or next book to be the CFPS book, and that is what we have chosen now. And the voting is ongoing. It's out there on my LinkedIn page. People listening to this, they are more than welcome to drop by my page, and most probably, I don't know, Gus, if we can put a link at your at the in the podcast also, I don't know, so
Yeah,
we can put there
sure.
also and vote for. Yeah, thank you. So vote for the slot that is suitable for you. uh, I think it would be suitable for the audience. I mean, we are learning the book that is written in US, but again, It's a small effort from our side, and we are trying to give back to the community.
That's incredible. Yeah, I love hearing about that, Vishal. That found out about you through the Fire Alarm Book Club, and that you
Wonderful.
were, going through NFPA 72. I find that it is fire alarm systems to me, for some reason, are a lot harder than sprinklers, even though they work on similar principles, like you were saying before. As
Hmm.
far as voltage drop and pressure drop and current and flow. But
Yeah.
I think that the technology surrounding fire alarms are just constantly changing and extremely proprietary. And so
Yes.
I'm always looking for good resources to try and figure out how to navigate codes and standards better and learn more about fire alarm systems. So I was really excited when I found out that you were going through NFPA 72 and really kind of like having a discussion about it, not just like
Hmm.
lecturing you,
Oh,
providing a community, building a
yes.
community where people could talk and discuss codes and really kind of band together for the
Yes.
for the pursuit of professional development. So
Yeah.
I was really excited to see that you were starting something that I'd never seen anything like that before for fire and life
Wow.
safety.
Thank
Like
you.
a kind of grassroots movement for a community of like-minded professionals going through the code books. So I think that's a really novel idea, and
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
something that I think is great.
Thank you. I will add over here. We have the our audience. They join in from as far as Malaysia. We get audience from South Africa, Saudi, Qatar. Of course, we have from there. We have people coming in from Kuwait as well, and a major chunk is also coming from India as well. So we have quite uh, from quite a diverse location joining in. I believe that 2000 hours Qatar time. That is around about, I think it is 1700 hours GMT, is suitable for all the time zones on a Friday. That's the reason I
Yeah,
do the vote.
yeah, yeah. I think that's around noon Central Standard Time.
Yeah,
For so that works in it worked out nicely. I can't remember. I believe I've been to at least one of your sessions. I know I've watched clips and I enjoyed the posts on social media as well. So
yeah.
yeah. So where can people find out about Fire Alarm Book Club if they want to join in or learn more about it?
Hmm. They can. We have a WhatsApp group, and I don't have a web page or anything so sort, but you can always come on to LinkedIn /in /am neo. That's spelled as Alpha Mike November Echo Oscar. You can come in there, maybe just give me connection request. Most probably, the first two posts would be, or first three posts, or featured posts would be of the book club only. And that gives me a pointer here, Gus. It's in my to-do list. I need to put a link on maybe on my web page so that anybody can join in. Thank you for reminding me of
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
No problem. I just want people to be able to find it, and I'll be sure to throw some notes
yeah,
for your LinkedIn and in the book club in the show notes for this episode. But
yeah.
yeah, so
So now,
so what other standards have you thought about covering? I know that you're covering 72 now, and that you're working on getting these episodes also posted to YouTube so that people
yes.
can view these not just at the time of the book club, but also
Hmm.
they can tune in whenever they get a chance to learn about some fire alarm or other fire and life safety topics. But
Yeah.
yeah, what are your ideas for the future?
So far, we it's all driven through our members, and the YouTube was uh, one of the big demand from our members, and they said at times, and it clicked me as well. At times they say we are not able to attend because of XYZ reason. Fine, and they wanted to go back and refer the code and the recording. That's the reason I came up very recently. I came up with my YouTube channel as well, wherein I am posting all the previous recordings and how you progress through each iteration of the episodes. You would see how the quality of the people joining in and how they respond and how we interact with each other, and many good ideas comes out of that, how we interact and comes through the channel. So that's the immediate thing. And we, like I said earlier, we do a feedback after each session of ours to our WhatsApp group, um, to the people in US. If WhatsApp is one of something like your iPhone chat, something similar to that, you can install on your Android, and for that matter on iPhone as well, and it maps to your telephone number. And you can have Telegram. I believe Gus had get Telegram is good to go in US. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I know that WhatsApp is available, but I've never used
Okay.
Telegram. I think WhatsApp is a fairly common one, especially for students in the U.S. I'm pretty sure that that students use it for group projects and stuff all the time.
Yeah, so that's what we stuck to. And if you feel like reaching out to the recordings and maybe give a feedback and how we can even better ourselves, it's tinyurl.com/book club. So tinyurl.com, tinyurl is one word, .com/fire book club. That's the YouTube channel. And we are getting subscribers every day, roughly more than. But the idea behind, again, I keep myself reminding is that uh, I'm looking for those 100 individuals in my mission statement, my vision statement, who get benefit out of it. So let's say if one of the fire technicians or any fire practitioner, they go out there in the field and they are able to answer a question or tackle a problem in the field just because they were present in that book club, we will feel that we have achieved our goal, our vision. That's what we want to do. That is what we are trying to do here. We are trying to empower each other. That's I think that's much more. So going forward, I come back to my feedback. So we take the feedback from our members, and they have at this very moment they want CFPS. So most probably by the second week of or the early September, we gonna launch our CFPS book, the book club as well. Maybe on a different time as the trends are going on. Hopefully, it's gonna be at some 1800 hours Qatar time. That is GMT +3, and it would be the next is NFPA 101. So if I see it clearly, the way it's going to go for CFPS, sometime April next year, we're going to do NFPA 101. I know long times, but that's the resources I have. I That's what I can commit of myself. Yeah, and we are trying to do in bite sizes. We're not trying to rush those training sessions that comes from I don't want to take any names, that comes from various institutions or institutions that do it, that you sit in for 3 days, cram up all the things, and on the fourth day you go and give your exam. That's not the idea here. It's slowly building up. So you go through the code page by page, line by line, and understand that line from various perspective, that and build upon your knowledge. So that's what we are trying to do slowly.
That's great, Vishal. I think
Thank
that
you.
a lot of people out there that are looking to buff up on just general knowledge. I mean, the CFPS is really broad in its
Yeah.
application, and Um, that kind of brings me to my next question, which is like, what kind of professions are you seeing people um, come to the book club? You know, are they mostly in the fire alarm industry, or do they work for other industries like insurance or construction, or what kind of different individuals are you seeing? Where are they working at?
I would say that now I was just reflecting on it a couple of days ago. Uh, though we don't have any kind of what's a profiling done, because it's you drop in with a pseudonym in the on the Zoom session and you leave. Uh, but what I look at the questions, the type of questions from there, what I can drive and the feedback that I get, what I drive is generally the industry from India is most of the people are from insurance. That's a bigger chunk. As far as the Middle East concerned, it's a mix and match of consultants and contractors, um, and uh, and that's the and South Africa, we have a couple of people as well. In Malaysia also, they are in they're also contractors. No, one of them is a student actually, and the other one is a contractor themselves. So this is the we don't have any name saved or anything. It's out there in on Zoom. People come in, they use a pseudonym. We do a quiz also in our session. Earlier we used to do a reactive quiz, like if we have studied something today, we will give out a quiz midweek, and then we will discuss the answers in the next session. But what we have done is now we have changed ourselves and we are doing it live. It makes people more engaging and people enjoy. And we are able to discuss. Sometimes the word selection in the question is not right, and we discuss the question also if the question is not right. So we try to make the question right as well, and we agree on to the answer. So that's the whole overall how the industry that is getting engaged.
I see. I see. That makes sense. So you spoke a little bit about, the origin of the book club, but and just with the pandemic and needing, kind of a different professional avenue to gain experience in a regular basis that's not too much of a burden. But, how did you come to the idea of this in the form that it has taken as the book club? It seems like a very unique thing to me. Did you have you been in any like regular book clubs, and this is what kind of brought you to the idea? Or I guess I'm still just kind of fascinated to how you got to this point, and yeah, how you got to this point for the idea of fire and life safety in the book club, to read the code out loud and try to understand it better with the group.
I don't know how it came, but it struck to me that we need to do something similar. That we're I think I take the I can draw parallels when I say that when I used to at times I used to go to coffee shops and sit down and read a book, not necessarily being an education book, maybe a novel or any self-help book or something like that. And I saw some students studying over there, and now this is pre-pandemic. And then when I got this urge of sitting together, I wish I had more friends of mine who can do this and my colleagues can do this. Then and this there was this whole barrage of webinars and seminars, and I was also giving webinars out. I, I took some webinars for SFPE chapter of Qatar at that time, and a webinar for FSAI, that's similar to SFPE of SFPE as well. And then it came to me. So it just happened. It's like an aha moment. Okay, now if we want to do this, this is the only way to do it at this very moment. So let's start going out and let's start pulling people in. And then there was this another book club that I was. It was not a book club actually. It was a study group that we were doing, it was from getting things done. I'm not sure if you've heard that, getting things done from. It's one of the way of. I'm one of the fan of that as well, and I was attending one of those sessions as well. It was, and we were discussing the book written. Give me just one moment. Let me just look up. I keep forgetting his
David
name.
Allen.
David Allen. You're right, David Allen. Thank you very
I just
much.
googled it.
Yeah. So, uh, for my office in my in-house work, uh, because I'm managing a team which is not only in Qatar, I'm managing a team which is has an extended office somewhere in India. So to manage their work, I was a big fan of getting things done. I made a cross of these thought process, or the getting your work done practices, and the queue system of the telecom industry, and made a software on it so that I can handle multiple project, multiple systems, uh, and multiple people, and everyone are well informed what you need to do, when you need to do, how much you need to do, those kind of stuff. So uh, and I came across this group over weekend, and we started studying every Saturday, I believe. Yeah, every Saturday. So maybe this gave an impetus at that time, or it just again was an aha moment that I said, yeah, this is how I can also do it. So Veronica is the name. A shout out to her as well. She is doing similar thing, perhaps, for the GTD world, and she's building good products out there. Some self-driven cars kind of projects as well. So shout out to her as well. So she was one of the I can say inspiration for me to come across this one.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, I wanted to ask you, Vishal, since you have such a knack for trying to help others and find professional resources and kind of lift others up in the community, what kind of uh, fire alarm online resources would you recommend to those who are looking to learn more and kind of maybe sharpen their skills in fire alarm design and codes and standards?
The best way to do is, as far as US is concerned, I would say NICET is the best resource. The NICET books. I wish I would had those 10 years ago. It was not available as they are available now. Uh, those books, and I think they have now the because of the pandemic, have they put their teachings as well. They have on online sessions also going on, uh, and so the best resources is stick to the professionals, because you're building your basis. Yes, it's a bit pricey. Save a bit, uh, because what happens is when you're trying to learn things out there, you get one gets I will not say you one gets overwhelmed with the kind of information that is out there. You search for fire alarm, or for that matter any system on Google, and you have so much of information out there, you get information overloaded. And then it happened with me as well. I started bookmarking all those things, and then by process of elimination, oh, this is not going to help, or fun one place we start that things are going on to some extent, and then all of a sudden that the information is not good enough. So in the beginning, as far as your basics are concerned, it's better to stick to professionals like NICET, maybe. Now there are courses out there given out by professionals. Try using their resources, okay? And NFP itself, of course, is one of the thing. And SFPE, I will talk about SFPE as well. I'm in one of the committee as well to for the course development. I'm a committee member for SFPE as well. They are coming up with many courses, online courses for our industry, and it would be very economically priced as well. That's what my belief is. The way they are taking themselves, And as far as students are concerned, they have if a student has to start, I think NICET is the best way to start. They take you from the basics of your electronics, as far as your fire industry suppression and your water-based systems are concerned. I believe they should go for the plumbing and all, because at the end of the day, that's the under the plumbing umbrella we have all the suppression systems. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gus. You're more versed on that part of it. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. So that's my say on it. Go small, uh, take baby steps, get your basics right, and then you can build on top of it. And of course, if you can take a CFPS in one go, nothing like it. Otherwise, break down the codes as per your liking and your bend of mind. What do you want to do, and use those codes. That's
Yeah.
the best way, I would say.
Yeah, I appreciate that that exposition on the NICET books and resources. I've never had anybody refer those before, but I really like what you said about how people should, rely on the very consistent professional resources to begin with. There's so
Yes.
much information out there, and so much of it is bad, and it's
Yeah.
really easy to get lost, like you were saying, when you're
Yeah.
early on in your profession. Um,
Yeah.
as much as I don't believe that you should, rely on big organizations for all your information, I do
Yeah.
think early on it's a great place to start because
Yeah.
you know it's going to be of quality. Because I
Yes.
can't tell you how many times I've read a white paper and realized that it has nothing to do really with code required
True.
systems. They're
True.
just selling a product. Um,
Yeah.
and, uh,
True.
and it's not of any benefit to somebody who wants to learn how to um,
Yeah.
determine when a system is required, determine how to install a system, determine the requirements for the. Of that system. Um, so I really like what you said about starting from an organization that helps certify individuals in these core competencies and how that is a great place to start.
Yeah. I would. I was so impressed with the curriculum of NICET. Back in this is so I'm talking 2004 or 2006. Internet was still dial-up, DSL dial-up in India, and I took the courage of calling up NICET office, and a very fine lady picked up. And I said, "Ma'am, I want to take this exam." She said, "You need to come to US for that." Come on.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, and I was like, "What?" There are at that time, I think Promeric test centers. I don't know if I can call those names in here. Their test centers just begun their journey, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
So and all these Microsoft exams were happening online at test centers. So I thought maybe they also have something like similar, but I don't think so. They still have something similar for that. So I think NICET is a very good place to start
Yeah.
for to get your basics right, because once you have your basics right, you can build on it more and more. And just to add on, and maybe add on to the white papers, the two industries that are doing it at very or type of systems that are doing at this very moment and are overdoing it is the water-based industry, the water mist industry, and the other one is the redox industry. Correct me if I'm wrong. You feel the same or not?
I would just say that as far as like the fire suppression side of things, that I think NICET has similar resources for fire, water-based systems layout, is what
Yeah.
it's called. Their certifications for layout, and then what you mentioned previously, some of the best fire and life safety courses I've ever had the opportunity to watch are from NFPA and their online resources. Although they've
Yes. True.
just recently taken away their like membership to where you could get access to all the
Unlimited.
courses.
Yeah, I was very, very disappointed when they did that, actually. They should keep it. I don't know why. It's a
Oh
bit
wow.
pricey, yes, but you have that library of your courses when you jump in whenever you want.
Yeah.
Now you have to think, you have to budget yourself.
Yeah, I know. I was sad as well. You know, those courses are good if you're learning strictly trying to learn the code. I mean, they won't give you the practical
Yeah.
application or the design as
Yes.
much.
Hmm.
I'm sure that's a liability thing in
Yeah.
that they can't tell you how to design a build. Well, they'll
Yeah.
give you all the steps to design a
Yes.
building, but they won't go over like what construction documents will look like, or what shop
Hmm.
drawings will look like, or
True.
some of the more minutia maybe
Hmm.
of actually making um, design documents or shop drawings. But they're excellent, excellent courses for somebody who doesn't know the fundamentals.
Hmm. I think NICET fills in there, if I'm not wrong. You can tell me
That's
better.
good to know. That's good to know. I
Mhm.
don't have as much information on the NICEAD stuff. I'd like to get some books now that you
Mm,
recommend them, though, because I bet that I would like learning some of the different
mm,
things that you've been talking about on the functional application of the shop drawings and whatnot. They probably do fill in a lot of the gaps in that regard, since that's their area of expertise. Well, Vishal, I always like to end with just like questions about professional development, and we already kind of touched on some of our favorite resources.
mhm.
But yeah, what advice would you recommend to professionals who are looking to better themselves? I know it sounds like you, like me, have some interest in self help and just kind of like this learning mentality. So. What would you tell a professional who's looking to better themselves?
Uh, uh, I've it's a huge responsibility to answer that actually. Uh, but humbly, I would say that our industry has been, I would say, the grand has been blocked by the grandfathers of fire protection industries. They have been keeping all the information very close to their chest. Gone are those days. Now, I don't think so. We can do that anymore. The new generation is very knowledge hungry. They want to learn. They want to learn quick. Okay, and they are not interested in maybe returning the information. Also, that is also out there. So so even with a very if you can if there are people out there who want to learn, I think one needs to diversify them into the computer part of it. Maybe have some computer programming experience as well. Because if you have to do a hydraulic calculation, though you're not programming, but you are a data entry guy. If you look at it that way, and if you're doing a battery calculation, again you're a data entry guy. You need to know that logic, what is happening behind it. So to some extent, computers are taking over. It's not a threat. It's going to be a helpful thing for us. And gone are those days of all the granddaddies who used to keep their experience and their knowledge close to their chest. You need to get back to the industry, and the organizations out there also. They need to spend some money on to uh, give out back to the community. And as far as the professionals who wants to better themselves, sharing is caring. It's an old saying. Till the time you don't share with your colleagues, people sitting next to you in your office, or next to your house, all those old values are being revalidated and are being people are thinking about it again. Those things are very true. Need to share with each other. Knowledge is the power going forward,
Yeah,
and of course the data. The data. If you remember, there's a an FPA for that is under development. The NFPA code for the remote testing. I think 915. Yeah, that is under development. It talks all about remote testing. So IoT, I'm pretty sure, would be used big time in it. Your skills of how to shoot a video is gonna be would be tested as well. How you record your programs. And I was looking at one of the presentations the other day. I was so impressed uh, that one of the challenges that they have mentioned is upskilling the technicians who go out there and do the inspection. To to uh, to speed that up, they have video tutorials of the same facility. So what it tells is, okay, press the button here, okay, and you should see this. Okay, that's a checklist on your checklist for your inspection and testing. So he takes his check mark on the checklist. So that's the kind of thing where we are moving towards. So keeping information to yourself and knowledge to yourself is not going to help. That is to the older generation of the fire industry. To the new generation, keep the hunger up and keep sharing.
I like that. I think those are all great points. Uh, yeah, I think that people who are involved with calculations, whether they be, no matter what calculations, have to be aware of garbage in, garbage out. If you don't understand
Yeah.
the data that you're putting into your program and the equations in which your program is running, you're not going to be able to produce results that are worth anything. And so I think that's a great point. And yeah, I mean, it's already hit so many other industries, this push for sharing and just kind of lifting the rest of the industry up and
Yeah.
lowering the barrier to entry. I always think of the Fire Code Tech episode with Kelsey Longmore, in which she said that if the if what we're trying to achieve here is safer buildings, then we should be making it as easy as possible to get this
Yes.
information.
True.
And
True.
I was so touched when she said that, and I always think of it in the way that I have, when I get the chance to speak to people who are doing. Looking for bettering themselves or producing content in this space. So I think that's great. So yeah, I think that's awesome, Vishal. Well,
Okay.
I want to thank you so much, Vishal, for coming on the
Welcome.
podcast. It was an absolute pleasure, and we'll have to
Same
do
here.
it again, sir.
Sure, sure. We need to. I mean, we need to do this exchange on the other end as well. Maybe we will do a recording of yourself taking one of the CFPS classes. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
put this on record or not, but I think we need to do that. Maybe the inaugural session that we're gonna do. Maybe you can chime in for a couple of minutes, a recorded session or a live, whatever suits you. Would be great.
sounds fun. Sounds fun.
Yeah,
We'll get it
yeah.
set up.
And I was reading another book the other day, and wherein they mentioned about the cohort learning that we are doing in our book club. It mentioned that going forward, this teacher and pupil kind of relation, classroom setup, the pandemic has pushed that setup into a danger zone at the moment because kids are not going to school. I don't know in US, but in Middle East and India, the kids are not going to the school. They are learning from home. So what is happening is that this is already a threat. So as far as the professionals are concerned, and especially the working professionals are concerned, they prefer a cohort kind of learning, wherein there is one subject matter expert, okay, and he takes the whole he's the host over there and he's driving the conversation and let everyone open themselves up, because what happens is in a school environment as well, in a classroom environment also, me being a teacher, I know this, people have their guards up, they don't speak up for n number of reasons. But when you're in a virtual environment, you turn off your camera, you love that anonymity, you use a pseudonym, and you ask questions and you enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
I
this
think.
is one of the this yeah. So this
Oh,
is one of the way the learning is gonna go, and I already know an institution, Avixa. They have already done a trial, not on the same, and they unconsciously they did this trial. And I was also taking those classes at that time, and I really enjoyed it. There was one guy who was driving the whole conversation, and then we were asking, okay, if the voltage is here at 20 volt, why not 20 volt? Why not 40 volt or something like that? These kind of questions we used to ask, and it gave a lot of clarity. People put their guards down. They don't have this what do you call mm, uh, a facade of a facade, a made of facade in front of
Yeah.
them that we are this. They confide into the class very easily.
Yeah, I think that anybody in a technical role has the fear of being wrong or being
Yeah,
judged for
yeah,
being wrong or not having the
true.
technical competency that is the currency of our trade. And so
Yeah,
I could see what you're saying about the being anonymous, having big implications for people to ask questions and
yeah.
to get answers. But that's great, Michelle. Well,
It
awesome.
it takes courage. It takes courage to ask questions that people think that you know already.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think there's a huge strength in that. There's a
yeah,
very big strength.
yeah.
But anyways, alrighty.
Already.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to share the episode with a friend if you enjoyed it. Don't forget that fire protection and life safety is serious business. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are by no means a professional consultation or a codes and standards interpretation. Be sure to contact a licensed professional if you are getting involved with fire protection and or life safety. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.